Hey there everyone, my name is Jeff, otherwise known as Kish Squared. I'm the maker of Mega Man Arena. And today we're bringing a very special video. It is the very first Mega Man Arena Direct. I'm going to be bringing to you some live gameplay of all of these new characters that we've been announcing. So for example, Magnet Man as we see here, but then also more recently we announced Hard Man and Top Man as part of the Mega Man 3 package, which is coming very soon when Mega Man Arena 2.0 launches. So we're going to take a look again at some of these characters, see how they play, take a look at some of their stages, and just have some fun hanging out together. So be sure to chime into the comments if you've got any questions about anything, and some of the alpha testers, maybe I'm already in there, right, because this is pre-recorded, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you might have. Magnet Man is a character that, as you can imagine, relies on his magnetism skills. So we think back to Mega Man 3 and we think about how he played in the boss chamber. He had a couple of things. He would jump around, he would jump really high, so he had a high jump, which we've given him in this game. We've got the high jump here. Whoops, I've got to actually get my controller connected. There we go. So Magnet Man has the high jump straight from Mega Man 3. And of course, the iconic Magnet Missile attack, which is the power that you inherit from him once you've defeated him. That Magnet Missile attack is bound to Special 1. So as we see here, the Magnet Missile is going to go out in a horizontal line and redirect itself vertically in order to connect with whatever opponent you're attacking. Now, the interesting thing about Magnet Man is that all of his moves really revolve around magnetism. So not just the Magnet Missile, but his normal shot. Let me show you this. The normal shot looks like just a straight shot that wanders across the stage. I'm about to lose my CPU here. Let me just knock him off and get a new one. There we go. But what you'll notice is if I jump a little bit and fire, that Magnet Missile homes in just a little bit. There's a little bit of magnetism on the normal shot, which doesn't cost any energy. So even shooting a little high up here can connect with your opponent, so you don't have to be 100% accurate with Magnet Man because of that magnetism skill. Generally speaking, when you're trying to attack your opponent from afar, you're going to want to spray these attacks out there. So a lot of normal shots and then mixing in the occasional Magnet Missile attack to throw them off a little bit. You create this wall of magnets. They're going to be very difficult to avoid. Now, Magnet Man is not a huge damage dealer. All of these attacks do 2 damage as of the time of this video. That may change before 2.0 releases. He's all about just keeping his opponent in kind of a frantic state of operation, trying to dodge these attacks. Now, there's, of course, one other big attack that Magnet Man had in Mega Man 3. Not Magnet Man 3. Mega Man 3, he had the Magnet Pull, and the Magnet Pull is when he would lock in and he would pull Mega Man in using his magnets, and we do indeed have that attack in this game. So if I hold down and press S2, so S2, the special 2, is his high jump. Holding down and doing that will activate Magnet Pull. Now here's the cool thing about this. If I hold up and do this in this game, we activate Magnet Push, and we can push people away in the same way that we can pull them in. Also, if I turn the CPU to shoot at me a little bit here, you'll see that this does create a barrier as well, so it keeps Magnet Man safe. Now, let me turn that back off here. What we'll see too, though, is that... Okay, what am I doing? Stand. There we go. Don't do one thing at once. Watch Magnet Man's energy bar up here at the top left. Once I start the Magnet Pull or Magnet Push, we're going to see that that magnet meter, or that EP meter, goes down a little bit at the start, but it takes more and more sequentially energy to hold it. So Magnet Man does best when he doesn't hold that down for long periods of time. In the event that you're trying to push somebody off a ledge, or you're trying to protect yourself for a long time, you've got that option to hold it down, but you will run out of energy very quickly, and you don't want to leave yourself without any EP. Now, when it comes to stages, again, we've taken a look at this. Let me activate hazards real quick and show you what this stage looks like with hazards. Okay, so I just went out there and activated hazards, and look at this. We've already got them coming. These Magflies from Magnet Man's stage from Mega Man 3. We recall them pulling Mega Man left or right across the stage, and you have to try to get out of it. And indeed, you do have that power. So as he pulls us up here, I can wiggle out. I can hold right or hold left to escape the Magfly. So it's not terribly dangerous as far as getting thrown into this pit, but at the same time, it's something you have to keep an eye out for during a match. That's for sure. So that's really it for this stage, just keeping in mind that there are Magflies that will pull you off, and it's a small stage. And you gotta be really careful with any character that has a way of getting you into pits. For example, again, Magnet Man, right? Doing the magic magnet push and pushing people off that platform, he's gonna be very strong on his own stage. Now let's take a look at a couple of those other stages. Here we have Magnet 2. Now Magnet 2, this is a part right out of Magnet Man's stage, which is right before the boss chamber, and there's these platforms above the hazardous spikes. And, you know, I mean, it's a stage that is a little bit about distance fighting. You're definitely going to spend a lot of time with your opponent just sort of shooting across here. Any characters that want to be close are going to have to brave this treachery to get to the other side. By the way, one thing you might notice about Magnet Man's second color there is that we aren't just recoloring his white as a secondary color. The magnet on his head changes colors depending on the color that you choose for Magnet Man. So it does create some interesting color combinations that you'll get to play with once 2.0 releases. So that's Magnet Stage 2. Let's take a look at the boss chamber. Now you might notice this boss chamber is a little bit different. We've added a couple of these larger magnets from the Magnet Man stage in Mega Man 3. And yes indeed, if you get too close, they will pull you in. Now it's not a super strong magnet, you can walk away from it, you can slide away from it if you have that capability, but it will pull you unless you're right in the middle of the stage. And so this is a little bit of a unique take on the boss chamber. It creates that flat domain, and by the way, if you turn hazards off, it does create a rather unique, again, boss chamber. Rather than just being flat all the way across, flat ceiling, flat floor, you do have these ledges up here that you can jump to, and it just creates a little bit more dynamic play, again, with hazards off. So you have options there depending on how you like to play Mega Man Arena. So that about wraps it up for Magnet Man. We're going to take a look next at Hardman. Alright, just to put it out there, Hardman is probably the most unique character that we've added to the Mega Man Arena game so far. Hardman is very melee focused. He's very slow, very hard to get in on people, and he doesn't have any ranged attacks other than the hard knuckle. So just to kind of demonstrate that to start off with, his special one is the hard knuckle, and he can throw that out there, and it does a pretty good job of homing in on opponents, but it's not super damaging either. It does about 3 damage depending on where we land with the 2.0 release. So, Hardman, from the game, we think about his iconic moves. He's got that hard knuckle, and then he's also got the ability to do a high jump, right? Remember, he jumps up, and then he does the hard dive. So he jumps above somebody, and he dives down on them. But he gets stuck in the ground for a little while, so unfortunately, Hardman has a lot of vulnerability on all of his attacks. That's sort of the downside to Hardman. Now, the upside to playing as Hardman is you're going to take all those attacks. We better give you something, right, to deal with those. Hardman has a 40% reduction on damage, but that still comes at a bit of a cost. His invulnerability period is reduced. So if somebody's just hammering you with projectiles, or for example, Woodman gets on you with a leaf shield, you're going to take a lot of damage because your invulnerability period is a lot less, even though it's 40% reduced damage. So he's a true bruiser. And I haven't even told the main thing yet. So one of the main things about Hardman that was demonstrated in his trailer is that he also has no knockback. So no knockback, 40% armor, reduced vulnerability invulnerability when he does get hit. Very unique character once again. If you're going to play against Hardman, you want to keep him as far away as you can and hit him as hard as you can. But again, you can't fully keep him away. He will get to you eventually because of the lack of knockback. So here's the question. What's he trying to do when he gets to you? Well, his normal attack, his normal shot, is a punch. He's going to try to punch you, get close, and punch. Now again, Hardman doesn't have knockback, right? He didn't move there even though I'm hitting him. And you can see also, even though this punch does several life bars worth of damage, Hardman has 2 damage here. I barely scratched him because of his 40% reduction. So Hardman again he's a defensive-minded attacker, but at the same time he does have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. The biggest one that is a little bit of a surprise potentially was again demoed in that trailer, and that's his ability to grab somebody and chuck them across the stage. I absolutely love this move. If you hold down and do the normal shot, he will grab somebody and throw them across the stage again. And that does quite a bit of damage to whoever it does. He does grab and throw. Now, the person's going to take damage when they hit a wall or when they hit the floor. And as you just saw there, when Hardman grabs somebody, he can turn them around and throw them over his shoulder. The other move that he has that's going to be why he wants to get close is the uppercut. So if you hold up and do a normal shot, he's got this uppercut attack. You see he vaults himself forward, and again, without knockback, you can't stop this train from coming, right? With all due respect to Chargeman, of course. This train's a little bit different. He's going to come at you. He's not going to deflect shots like Chargeman does, but he is going to cut through anything and deal damage. Now, you see here, he doesn't go very far. He's not like Chargeman. But at the same time, if he gets just a little bit close to you, you're just outside of his range. Be careful, because he can jump in there and hit you. One of the fun things about this move is when he hits you with this. Oh, I get demoed this because Hardman doesn't take knockback. However, when you hit somebody with the uppercut, it actually sends them flying. So they go up into the air and a little bit further away. So you're actually knocking them away with pretty strong knockback. I'll demo that here when we look at his next stage. One thing to keep in mind with Hardman is he can put out a little bit of damage from a combo perspective. Combos in this game are when you're stuck in hit stun, you can get hit by moves that combo. Okay, it's an advanced mechanic in this game, and there's not a lot of moves that take advantage of that, although we're going to see in 2.0 that there are more moves than have been in previous iterations of the game. So what this means is that if somebody's already getting hit, so they're not invincible, they haven't like recovered from getting hit, they're like stuck in that stagger back state, you're going to want to aim for hitting those characters or those opponents with moves that can combo. One of those moves is the uppercut. So watch this, as we grab Hardman, throw him against the wall, and do an uppercut. Hey, look at that, because Hardman was actually in the hit stun state, we saw the invulnerability, or I'm sorry, we saw the power of that uppercut. So that was a combo, we can tell by those orange marks. So if I grab him again, whoops, he's almost out of health here. Yeah, okay. So let me grab him, throw him into the wall. If I time it right, you saw that the sweat was orange. That means it's a combo, as opposed to just a normal hit, which results in the white sweat. All right. One last thing with Hardman, one last trick he has up his sleeve is, yes, he's slow. We've talked about how slow he is, how hard it is for him to move around. He does have a move that will give him a little more speed, and that is the long jump. So we mentioned we've got this high jump. Doesn't really help because he's so darn slow. But if I hold down and do a high jump, I can launch myself across the stage. Now that gives me two options. For one, I can try to keep advantage or catch opponents off guard by using maybe a hard dive, and we see that it does a lot of damage. Keep in mind, Hardman has reduced damage, so even the chunk of damage I did to him was after his 40%. So it does a lot of damage to hit somebody with your hard dive. However, the other thing you can do is use it to get closer to somebody and then maybe follow up with an uppercut. So we do have options there, but as you can see on the left, it is taking a chunk of my EP to do the long jump. So high jump takes a little bit less, not too bad, but doing a long jump will consume more EP because Hardman takes some energy to move around, right? That's about it for Hardman. Let's go ahead and take a look at Hardman stages. So first of all, here we have the boss chamber. I've had some requests to have scene changes, right? I don't like to just throw too many of these vanilla boss chambers in. They're completely flat along the ground and completely flat along the ceiling. I try to mix it up a little bit, but again, people I get it. We want some variety, we want some music differences, and so here's another option we have available to us if we just want to play on a flat stage. With that, let's take a look at Hardman's first two stages. So here we are in Hard Stage 1. Hard Stage 1 features the Wanans, or however you say that, Wanans. These enemies that jump out of the ground and attack. And I love how Hardman is so slow, he can't even escape these guys as they jump out and deal damage to him. So maybe on his own stage, we'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage from that perspective. But I will say this, on this stage without hazards, Hardman, he can do some damage. You can really get people in these corners. This uppercut will hit somebody who's up on the ledge. So he's got some options here on his own stage when, again, ideally, hazards are up. You don't just want to sit there and take a bunch of damage from these enemies. All right, so this is Hard Stage 1. Let's take a look at Hard Stage 2. For the second Hardman stage, we feature this iconic scene from Hardman stage where you fight Proto Man. And hey, if you guessed that this was coming, then props to you for that, because you might have even guessed that this is going to be the next Hardman stage. So, the nice thing about this stage, no hazards, you don't even have to have hazards off, a very balanced stage, good for tournaments, etc. And again, from a Hardman perspective, I can use my uppercut. I went ahead and picked a different character besides Hardman to demonstrate this, so that uppercut's going to be above his head. Let me grab him. Grab me, I can grab somebody from down below, that's pretty cool, right? Grabbing somebody, but then if I do use an uppercut, boom, you see that they fly sky high when I hit them. That's it for Hardman and Hardman stages. Again, Hardman is a really fun character. I really love Hardman. We finally have a super heavy character in Mega Man Arena, and who better than Hardman to lead the charge on that. So with that, let's take a look at our most recently announced character, Top Man. Alright, cue the top tier jokes because Top Man has finally made it into Mega Man Arena. Now, Top Man's a fairly unique character in that if you look at him, he actually rides roller skates. And we don't really get a sense of what that looks like in Mega Man 3 because all he really ever uses is the top spin to get back and forth. But in Mega Man Arena, we have interpreted that to say, you know what, if he's on roller skates, he should probably play like he's on roller skates. And so if you're familiar with the ice mechanisms, or the ice mechanics, if I can say that word, what you see here is that Top Man always has ice mechanics because he's on these roller skates. Now the difference is that Top Man can actually build up speed on these roller skates. You can see here that without hitting any walls, I can get going pretty fast with Top Man because his speed never reduces to 0 just by hitting the ground. If I hit backwards or if I hit a wall, then I'm going to lose that speed buildup. But Top Man has the potential to get up to some pretty serious speed and give Quick Man a run for his money. Top Man's moveset from the game, we know that he has the top spin and he has the homing top, so we have faithfully reproduced those here. So we've got the homing attack, and this homing attack is unique because each of these tops is actually destructible. So these can be used as a shield if Top Man, if I'm hiding up here, somebody might shoot at me and it'll hit and destroy those tops, but that projectile will actually be destroyed along with the top. So that can be good and bad for Top Man because if you really want to hit somebody with those projectiles, they might destroy them while they're inbound. But hey, if what we found in testing is that that will actually result in you blocking a lot of shots because those are just sort of out there ready to take somebody else's hits. So that's the homing top attack. That would be special 1. Special 2 would be the top spin. Top spin, just like in Mega Man 3, he's going to spin around, and as we see on the left, energy drains as I hold it down. The longer I hold it down, the further I will go with my top spin. So you have to be careful and find the balance of, how much energy I want to spend. The amount of damage is consistent. It doesn't matter whether I charge it up or not. It's simply how far I go and how long I'm sitting there deflecting shots. Because just like in Mega Man 3, while Top Man is spinning, we saw this with poor Flash Man trying to break through that top spin in the trailer. It's going to deflect all of the shots that are coming in at him. Now, top spin, just like with Mega Man, can be used in the air. So now here, a little bit of an invention for Mega Man Arena, but we do see Top Man actually using top spin in the air. It does the same amount of damage, but it doesn't give the same properties as top spin on the ground as we saw. So the question is this: if we have the homing tops and we have the top spin, what does the normal shot look like? Well, the normal shot is going to be a top that slides along the ground. And Top Man gets 3 of these, which on a stage like this, hey, they're going off screen, so I'm basically going to have as many of these as I want. However, as we can see, I don't know if I can really demo it here. On this stage, we'll see on future stages that these tops actually slide to a stop. And once they slide to a stop, they're going to look a lot like this. Now, if I hold down and put a top down, it will stay in place. And it will be a constant source of damage, a constant threat to whoever's around me. So putting this down, again, it's almost like a minefield I can lay around. But again, I only have 3 of these. Now, as you see, they eventually topple over and fall. But here's a unique thing about this. If I want to keep this top spinning, you can almost see the animation start to slow down. If I slide through it, I can actually re-engage or re-energize that top and keep it going. So sliding through it will keep the top spinning forever if I want to, but eventually I probably do want it to fall just so I get my shots back. So that is the spinning top, dropping these tops in strategic locations, kind of like dropping a crash remote bomb, but this time it's just going to do damage to whoever touches it. Alright, so that pretty much covers Top's movesets. Now let's take a look at Top Man stages. So I'm going to restart this stage actually because there is an enemy, a one of these guys, up here, throwing tops down to whoever happens to be closest at that moment. So he's going to spin these, or throw these tops out, and you can destroy them, no problem. And eventually you destroy him. And as of the time of this video, if you destroy him, he does not come back. Now, we may make it so he comes back by the time 2.0 releases. I don't know. Anything's up in the air. But for right now, with the hazards on, you're going to find that enemy. Now, with the hazards off, this is a very unique layout. We don't have anything like this yet in Mega Man Arena. A staircase that leads up in the middle, and it's a very symmetric stage other than this little hang down here because it is based on an actual location within Top Man stage, just to the left of Tama, the cat, that is going to be over here on the right. And speaking of Tama, let's take a look at Top Stage 2. Alright, Top Stage 2 happens at that location where you fight the cat, that mechanical cat called Tama. Tama's gonna come down here in a moment, but for now, let's take a look at what this stage looks like. So again, with hazards off, it's a very unique layout. We've got this raised ledge up here. Somebody might want to try to camp your opponents out, especially, you're playing against Hardman, for example. You might want to try to keep him away, but, again, you can't keep Hardman away. Just get used to that fact. So, a unique stage layout, but eventually, Tama is going to crash this party. Well, there he comes. We do get warning arrows before he spawns. Now that Tama's here, he's going to throw out the yarn balls, those kinds of attacks, and then we also have fleas. So, as we're familiar with by playing Mega Man 3, there are fleas, there are these yarn balls, and hey, the fleas are just going to sit there until somebody destroys them. Or you can attack Tama. If you can deal enough damage, Tama will eventually get destroyed. But unlike the enemy in the last stage, Tama will eventually come back. So he's a recurring hazard on this stage. And hey, you know what? You want to play the stage without Tama, you can turn hazards off. Now, let's take a look at a very special stage, Top Stage 3. Here we have Top Stage 3, and yes, it's a scrolling stage. We have a lot of recurring enemies from the Top Man stage. By the way, I told you I'd demonstrate that sliding top. There you go. See how it's, well, the med enemy ruined my demonstration. Holy cow, I can't get through this guy. All right, there we go. We see how these tops are sliding to a stop. They will eventually do that on most stages. So, these bulldozer mets, you just gotta kind of shoot your way through. We got a lot of different paths on this stage, different ways to get through it. We have, hey, guess what? The exact same locations that we just saw for top stages 1 and 2 as we progress. Now, very similar to Shadow Man's scrolling stage. Tama has less health on this stage, by the way, just so you can cut through him a little better. This is going to be an amalgamation of a lot of the areas of Top Man's actual stage from Mega Man 3. But because we can't go up and down while we're doing a scrolling stage, we're going to rearrange some of these portions and make it so that you can get through them. Actually, this enemy has less health as well, just so you can cut through. So, then we have the iconic spinning top section. So, good luck if you're going to fight on this stage, trying to get through this one alive, as you're shooting each other. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of chaos that's bound to happen here. Now, eventually you do make it over here. My computer happens to keep following me along via respawns, which is good. And eventually we do end up in Top Man's boss chamber. Now, Top Man's boss chamber is flat on the bottom, flat on top. It's very similar to Shadow Man's stage scroll, where we get a good taste of Shadow Man's stage, but we do end up in the boss chamber. Same thing here with Top Man. We end up in the boss chamber, and here we go. We can be Top Man. Let's throw out my homing tops, and then charge up my top spin, and go across the stage, right? So with that, we have taken a look at Magnet Man, and Hard Man, and Top Man, but we already knew about Magnet Man, and Hard Man, and Top Man. Wouldn't it be fun to showcase something a little bit new? Now, I'm not going to show a new character, so don't get too excited here, but I'm going to show a new boss because Mega Man 3 is bringing to us a whole new slate of bosses. And here we have it. Yellow Devil 2 has shown up in Mega Man Arena, so I hope you're ready for a challenge. Honestly, this is one of the most challenging stages, pre-boss stages, before you even get to the boss fight. This is the stage right out of Mega Man 3. It's going to look very familiar, very similar to what we had there. We have these Wanons coming after us while we have to fight the bees. I can only talk or play. I can't do it both at the same time, at least well. So we'll try to get these bees here, the Subies, the Chibis, coming at us here. And so the nice thing about Top Man is you can actually use his speed to an advantage here. Get a little bit of speed going. Now, by the way, you might notice we have E-Tanks. E-Tanks have made it into boss mode. They're going to show up in a lot of different stages, not just this one. And as you saw with the pop-up there, you can hit select, in other words, pose, in order to use an E-Tank. So let's get going here and see if I can make these jumps. It's a little tricky with Top Man's speed, but we did it no problem. If I needed energy, I could jump back there and get those energy tanks there. But here we go, Yellow Devil 2. Yellow Devil Mach 2, all right. And this pattern is going to be exactly what it was in Mega Man 3. So we just have to dodge the shots as they come in, and hopefully, ideally, we don't take too much damage. Whoops. Bound to do that eventually. Alright, there we go. Do as much damage as we can to Yellow Devil 2. Now he's going to come back the other way. Woo! Holy cow. Now, fortunately, for better or worse, I should say, the stage is challenging enough We did reduce the damage, the amount of damage that Yellow Devil 2 does to you, so it's more about how fast can you beat him, not just can you survive. Obviously, you do want to survive, that's important. Ooh, I'm low on health, I better use that E-Tank. Nice. And as we see, just like with Mega Man 3, we do end up getting the bouncy version of that coming back at us, again, without the NES, right? The NES slowdown, rather. That NES slowdown is killer in that part, and it makes it basically impossible to dodge. As you saw right there, dodging all of those bouncing attacks wasn't too bad, really. So here we go. Let's see if we can knock this guy out here. Let's use all of our weapons. We'll use some homing attacks, too. Oh, those homing attacks took too long to get going. All right, let's try this. That time I didn't do it very well at all. All right. There we go. Took him out with that classic Mega Man 3 explosion as well. So here we go. This is a snippet of what's coming to you in Mega Man Arena 2.0. So thank you very much for sticking with me today, having a lot of fun. Hey, we get a little preview there of Top Man's victory pose made by Jax in the Discord community. So thank you, Jax, for that. Looks phenomenal. Thank you again for all of your time here. Again, we're really looking forward to getting Mega Man Arena 2.0 out to you as fast as we can. We're working on it very, very hard. Lots of testing going on, and we'll be out as soon as possible. And with that, I will see you in the next Mega Man Arena Direct.